Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and Our Man here from the Block Runner MetaZone, Rovi and MScribe. And today is Rune June, they tell us.
Well, we missed it by a day. It's June 2nd. So
It's still June, though. So
no, I know, but
it's Rune June. All of the 30 days is
yeah,
Rune-only activity for all of crypto. It's been decreed.
yeah, that's what's on the timeline. We've been waiting for this, right? Runes was deployed, I want to say April of last year.
That's correct, yeah.
Had quite the coming out party. It was being sold as the second coming of crypto. Like nothing was ever going to go back to
The same.
Yeah, never. Yeah, it was paradigm 2.0 inflection point.
Yeah.
You know, and for a little bit, a brief moment in time, people kind of bought into that, and you know,
For a few hours, yes.
yeah, per the follow-up success, right? Ordinals was clearly a takeaway success. It was a good idea. It was a good implementation of something novel on Bitcoin. So it was like, all right, there's a lot of shitcoinery happening abroad, like in Solana and
Yes.
mostly Solana. The trenches of Solana clearly inspired this new meta protocol called Runes on Bitcoin, I would say, right?
Oh, no, I think BRC20 really inspired this Rune
That's a
protocol.
good point. Yeah.
Casey wants to be in the spotlight, so
Well, not just that. He equated BRC20s and other like tap tokens and stuff like that, the JSON protocols as
true, yes.
disruptive and a bad look overall for ordinals, right? It just doesn't look good to see all these these text instructions as like the showcase centerpiece of ordinals because they were generating the most volume.
No text on my picture chain, he said.
That's right. So what I should do instead is create this separate meta protocol. That way it's not like bleeding into my like art gallery. You know what I mean? My personal alt gallery that I've deployed on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then so the community picked up on that. It's like, all right, now we got like shitcoinery associated to Casey, the Ordinals founder.
Yeah.
So let's look around the room and see what people are doing with shitcoins these days. Well, they were at the time and still actively in this time producing meme coins, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is it. This is the main utility use case, at least as of today, for the Runes protocol.
Yeah, and Dog was one of the earliest Rune tokens to launch, right? It's like top 10.
Yeah, they did
It's like
even
top 3 or something.
They did
like
a
that.
pre-Runes launch, remember, with the Runestone,
That's right, yeah.
which was an ordinal. So you had them, you got like some allocation of this eventual rune.
Mm-hmm.
You know, big airdrop. So there's a whole lot of backstory to this. If you guys missed it, I mean, try your best to look through our old videos. We were covering this stuff as it was unfolding.
That's right.
Because that's part of like following the Bitcoin ecosystem, right? Because it's so new, it's so experimental, it's completely fluid in its dynamics, meaning one meta protocol could all of a sudden one day just take off and leave the rest in the dust. You just don't know.
I like fluid dynamics.
I like solid state. You know, I like it. It's much more comfortable, predictable, but you're right. Fluid's cool too because, you know,
Volatility.
It's more volatile. It presents a much bigger opportunity.
That's right, yeah.
But it's also, you know, you could just fall into the abyss.
That's right.
And never come back. Dude.
Hence fluid.
Yeah. It's dangerous out there, right?
Yeah.
So
All right.
Let's kind of like catch it back up. What's happening? The state of runes, because, you know, everyone's saying this is the month that it's finally all going to make sense, right?
Yeah. So Bitcoin 2025 happens, and so ordinals have a good showing there, at least somewhat.
Yeah.
And it says, Leonidas here, it's pretty cool that Dog and Bitcoin Puppets were the two Bitcoin communities that showed up on the strongest in Vegas. Both operate under CC0 VPL license. Both are 100% community organized. Both were free mints and slash airdrops. You don't need a 10 million raise to have fun.
I guess that's a shot at who? Udi, I would say. Yeah, where's the Wizards at, dude? Usually they're like...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They're like the big...
10 million, more like 20, 25 million, right?
More like
30?
70 million collectively, if you factor in Quantum Cats
Oh, right, yeah.
and the Wizards.
Yeah, you don't need $70 million to have fun, guys.
Yeah. Well, somebody paid for those inflatables, dude, so I don't know who it was. You know, there's people out there with money, clearly, and they're getting them, you know, real estate isn't free, right, at these conferences.
No, it's not.
But this is it. This is the showcase of the current state of the ordinals, the culture that has emerged from Bitcoin. So if you've been following it along, since the very beginning as we have. Hasn't really changed much. These are the
No, it hasn't.
these are the same like mascots that kind of emerged years ago, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's continue down this tab timeline. It says Ord.io, which is, I think, Leonidas' platform. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It says, breaking, Kraken FX confirms that it's building a native Bitcoin runes integration that would theoretically support the listing of any rune token. So any platform supporting any meta protocol like BRC20s theoretically supports BRC20s.
Correct. So an exchange at the scale of Kraken, it's like, all right, it listed dog, right? That means it did the due diligence to support runes in a sense.
Correct. Right? But that doesn't mean that any rune token would just automatically be listed. You got to pay up, son.
Well, of course. Yeah. You got to meet the metrics criteria.
Which is a briefcase. And it has to be
filled.
Well,
no, in this case, the alleged is no briefcase was delivered to Kraken. It's just, you know, the dog army made enough penetrative force to obfuscate any of the
it's possible.
Industry rails.
It's very possible.
Yeah, well, like you're saying, good luck follow up rune attempts, to try and replicate that, because it's an exchange, it's a business, it's running off of this model of you got to pay a fee to get access to our eyeballs and our liquidity.
Yeah, for the most part, that's how all exchanges work. Some fees they vary, right? Some start very low, 5-10 grand. Others are very expensive, like 100 grand. Mm-hmm. And then some are free. I think Coinbase and even Binance, they both suggest that the listing is free. I just don't know.
Yeah, I doubt it. That's a pure
marketing.
We're the good guys,
Yeah.
type of PR appeal. But
yeah, who knows?
Not how it goes down, guys.
At least not in our experience. It's not exactly how we're seeing it, at least from our end.
Yeah, but nonetheless, dog is, penetrating the mold, right? So it's good news. It's probably partly why this new narrative is festering, like a second wave for runes, because of the traction of dog, right? It is the showcase app, if you will, of this entire protocol.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, our boy Dog is already up 40% since Kraken confirmed listing. I think no one can deny that this is the first rune that merits listing. Given size of activity and community distribution and valuation, my gut tells me it'll do well with sex listings, and that this will set up runes nicely.
Yeah, and that's, if you don't know, good old Kevin O'Leary, right? There at the bottom.
That's right.
He says you sit back and contemplate your future riches. Like he does. He's like, yep, I'm nailing it in my evaluations here, lads.
Right. Yeah, so this is basically setting it up. The thesis here is that if dog does really well,
there'll be like a trickle-down effect for the rest of the ecosystem.
So how well is dog doing? Well, it's doing really well.
It's actually oscillating pretty effectively.
Correct. Yeah, it's doing really well in the fact that it's on its way to testing its ceiling at $1 billion market cap.
Yeah, when we were looking at this chart earlier, I was like, dude, this is pretty rare. You don't typically see a third chance at penetrating through something as a difficult threshold as $1 billion market cap. It's a pretty big psychological barrier there. And obviously, 2 previous attempts here, couldn't do it. And the first one being at the market's probably most euphoric point. This is the new protocol at this point. Everybody's kind of aligned and expecting greatness here. Just didn't happen to pan out. Maybe that was too much pre-go-to-market hype. And then so a lot of the steam left the room. Second wave, I guess, came from
December.
That was the overall meme coin explosion.
Not only that, the all-time high of Bitcoin at the time was it broke 100,000 around that time frame.
Yeah, so perfect star alignment, right? For a token like this, right? Not only are memes systemically going crazy, right? We got AI memes happening at the time.
That's right.
We got country coins coming online.
Thank you, Libra.
Thank you, Argentina.
That's right.
Great country. Definitely needed tokenization.
Right.
So all these things, right? And then you got this notable centerpiece token on Bitcoin called Dog. So that gave it the steam to give it its second attempt. But here we are, leg 3.
That's right. Yeah, that's pretty big.
Yeah. So whether or not it's actually going to successfully penetrate this time, I think the point is that's the goal, right? And I think the whole collective ecosystem is kind of aligning with that. As we can see here, you just simply search Rune June, just kind of go through these tweets, dude. See how many people are talking about this.
Yeah. So Rune June. Yeah. Everyone's mentioning it. It says, "Babe, wake up! It's Rune June."
Yeah. See if you can find. Just keep scrolling. See if you find somebody that you recognize. I mean, probably should have done this before the recording of this video, but there were some tweets somewhere down the line. I forget exactly who. They're not the usual suspects. Leonidas, of course, is going to be tweeting about this stuff.
Yeah.
But do this on your own time. Look up the Rune June. But really, it's like, who are the platforms that are kind of like building around this concept, right?
Good old Jern, keeping up with the happenings.
Magic Internet Money. This is the, I guess, like the Wizards community.
So do you remember someone notable talking about runes in this list here?
Basically any crypto Twitter influencer who has any interest on
who's not necessarily all about Bitcoin.
Well, it's typically like the Bitcoin influencer crowd, right?
Oh, okay.
People who have like an understanding of the thesis of the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yeah, I thought perhaps we have breached just the
beyond.
Yeah, beyond the echo chamber.
Not yet. I think that's what's holding the whole thing back, right?
Wait a minute. We might got something here. HTX. No. That's a no. That's a negative.
Okay, so we haven't breached past the
the echo chamber.
The membrane, right?
That's quite the thick membrane, dude.
I know. I feel like we've been trying to tap through that motherfucker for years now, right? So what do you think it is, man? Like what's holding it back? Is it the user experience overall? It's just people just don't agree. It's like building things on Bitcoin.
I think the infrastructure is part of the problem here, which I mean, you could say that for an early ecosystem, you're going to have that problem. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the existing demographic is requiring a certain infrastructure components to be there in order to have entertainment.
Yes.
And that infrastructure is just not on Bitcoin.
And when you say entertainment, you mean like opportunity.
Fun. Yes.
Yeah, it's funny how you could say so many different words to represent the same thing. Is it opportunity? Is it entertainment? Is it fun? Whatever. At the end of the day, it's number go up technology is what the market demographic is seeking.
And there's a very specific way to do that where the technology does make the number go up. Like it's actually a real thing.
But per this discussion, doesn't exist on Bitcoin. Is what you're saying?
Correct.
So Bitcoin is lacking number go up tech.
Correct. Yes.
Therefore, people don't buy into our narratives and our thesis.
Correct.
Yet.
Yes.
So what's important here, dude, is developers building more info, right?
Yeah. And having said that, DotSwap introducing and pioneering for the first time decentralized market making comes to Bitcoin. So this is one of the earlier primitives that is kind of required to have that entertainment opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing this on every other chain, right? We've been covering this. So we spent like the first initial 2 years pretty locked in heavily into the Bitcoin ecosystem, you know, as new meta protocols were being tinkered with and deployed, and, you know, programmability was being implemented in its most like rudimentary forms native to Bitcoin. But eventually, like somewhere around year 2 and to where we are today, we kind of like peered out and to look and see what's going on everywhere else, right? And what we've come to realize is the much further advanced state of infrastructure that exists on every other chain, right?
Yeah.
To be the rails of what it is you're talking about, this number go up stuff.
Yeah, it's sort of like spending a few minutes in a pool and then like going to the hot tub. It's like egregiously hot.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so like we spent a lot of time on Bitcoin. We got used to the pool environment. And then you go to a different chain where there's more infrastructure that, you know, naturally it's had more time than Bitcoin's ordinal ecosystem.
I see.
And then all of a sudden the hot tub feels extremely hot.
Yeah, and all the hot chicks are in the hot tub, right?
That's right.
And we're in the pool with like all the kids.
No, we're not in the pool with the kids.
What do you mean?
We're in the pool with underdeveloped.
What? Have you not been to a pool? There's fucking kids everywhere, dude. Look at these fucking kids out of my way, dude. I'm trying to chill in the pool. But in the hot tub, it's like you got all the models out there, dude. You know?
My man lives for Adult Swim.
That's right. Like, get these fuckers out of my pool, dude. I love it when that whistle blows, dude. It's like, kids get out. It's for the adults now, you know?
Yeah. So, yeah. You guys get the analogy, right? We're trying to
We're trying to get in the hot tub.
yeah.
We're trying to bring the hot tub to Bitcoin, right?
Hell yeah, dude.
I agree.
Yeah, speaking of hot tub, we offered a track governance vote for the track network, and Dog made it in with us.
Speaking of hot tub,
Yeah, dude. That's a.
Yeah, I mean, look at this landslide.
I mean, not even close.
Yeah, it's not even close.
So clearly, like, there's a. So what I interpret this is there's an ecosystem-wide alignment here happening around Dog, which,
Yeah.
from per my observation, makes a lot of sense because like we just talked about, it's a multi-year experiment here on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And
right.
like, paddling along in this little kid pool. And we're collectively, I think everyone's kind of fed up and like waiting for something that's going to, pierce, right?
Yeah, that's a good word that you use there, because there's another word that would be a lot less effective.
What?
Moving on. Moving on.
You lost me there, dude. I
No.
don't want to know where your brain
Forget
is
it.
right now.
Forget
Okay.
it. But yeah, so Dog has just added to Hypermall. Hypermall is a new development from the track ecosystem. It is a much fluid trading environment. I have it installed. I've tried it. It's pretty smooth.
Yeah.
If you stake your TAP tokens, you earn fees, right? From anything that's traded on the ecosystem. So it's pretty great.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very fluid trading experience, right? Like something that the existing demographic would enjoy, right? And what the assets you're dealing with on this platform.
Yeah.
They're Bitcoin native. In this sense, it's Dog. So it's another similar like Kraken type of momentum narrative, right? It's like maybe this will pierce through the cracks.
Yeah.
Get Dog some much needed momentum, and therefore people will gravitate to these platforms like Hypermall or DotSwap or Kraken and such. And collectively, this could finally send Dog to the moon. And the results of that is hopefully like ecosystem wide uplift, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That is the thesis.
Yeah, that's what I'm witnessing. It seems like it because there wasn't like this much, I think, broad alignment for like a single token
Agreed.
until now.
Agreed. Right? Yeah, and the foreshadowing of the name, Dog to the Moon.
Yeah,
it will come true.
Perhaps that is what we're all embarking on here, dude. It's quite the quest.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen Hypermall, it is a pretty fluid trading environment using kind of new technology from the track team. But yeah, it's great. So definitely check it out. And let's move on here. Track network. It says, yep.
So this was confirmed like minutes ago. That it's essentially
You're
in the works. Because of the vote, and Benny. We know Benny. He's he's quite the dev. He's very fast. Whenever like for example, Nat got the governance vote from the track ecosystem to be redirected to the Bitcoin miners.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say within a week or two is when that actually was activated, right?
Correct.
So, yeah, things tend to happen quickly after these governance votes are committed, right?
Yeah, and finally, alkanes are here, and they're catching on fast. Let's see the volume on some of these images here.
Yeah, they're doing a comparison to, the top runes, and they're pretty close.
Yeah, neck and neck.
Neck and neck. So, yeah, we made a video about alkanes about a month ago, so... even though we're saying there seems to be like a collective alignment in support of one token for this one meta protocol, don't forget that other meta protocols and other asset classes do exist in the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yeah, and yeah, correct. And if I remember, I think alkanes does kind of support runes to one degree or another. I would need to look into it, but that is why we bring this up to you, and this is, all the links will be in the description, but we want you to click on it and actually do your research on this stuff, because as a new ecosystem, things are extremely volatile, and as you can see, the thesis here is that if everyone's aligned with Dog, and it does really well, it could pique the attention of, additional people in the market, right, and bring people into Bitcoin, and that makes everybody have more fun.
Yeah, I think that says just about all, right? Because I mean, it's been a while since we've done like a Bitcoin focused like ecosystem video, right? Because like we're really trying to understand because we do understand first of all how important the Bitcoin ecosystem is going to play into the evolution of our markets here.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Bitcoin, this is the cycle of Bitcoin. Like, it's being actualized into its like elite form of a digital gold. You know, we have real institutional adoption happening in real time.
Mm-hmm.
We have real, like, the elite class starting to embrace this thing. And that hasn't happened up until now, right? So expect more of that continuing to this cycle. It's only going to strengthen the value prop of anything really associated to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And these specific class of assets, like, you know, that is the main narrative support for their justified existence, right? It's all happening on Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's kind of a big deal, right?
Right,
It's getting wider adoption from a government level and then even institution level, obviously. And so it kind of makes sense, the thesis that you want to have some sort of active ecosystem on the platform that is getting institutional adoption.
Yeah, and then, you know, per even deeper discussions, like, you know, there's real sustainability dilemmas to Bitcoin itself that's not obvious at surface value. Like,
yeah, I feel like most are not talking about it because it floods their bags, but I know for a fact that miners are worried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them are, and then, there's a little bit of a contentious split among, like, you know, what are the viable solutions here? Like, today, you don't have to worry too much about it, but we know next cycle or a couple cycles out, this will be the center point topic discussion, right? Like,
yeah, 100%.
How do we deal with this?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I don't think there's going to be one solution. I think there's going to be contributors from different sides, solving the problem.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's the healthiest approach.
Yeah.
Right. Especially for like a decentralized network or ecosystem, right? It's like,
you don't
impose one new, like
you wouldn't want ordinals to be the thing that sustains Bitcoin long term for 1,000 years, right? It's just not reasonable to expect that, right? And so you need multiple attempts. And so ordinals is one, NAT is another, and there's going to be several attempts.
I totally agree. Yeah, but it's important to at least make people aware of this. So, you know, developers who buy into this thesis, they consider that, right? It's like, I don't just want to leverage Bitcoin for its marketing amplification, right? It's people see Bitcoin as tremendously valuable. So that's why I decided to build on this chain or in this ecosystem, whatever, and not be thinking about, like, how do I return some of the value that I've kind of extracted, in a sense, back to Bitcoin itself, so that this thing is long-term sustainable.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it for us. I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you follow our Twitter account and then subscribe to the channel as well. And then, if you find anything in the Bitcoin ecosystem or altogether all of crypto that you find interesting, put it in the comment section below. I appreciate you for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.